So this is our first video on blogging, and again, we're going to be using um, a blogging site called WordPress. Now remember what blog stands for. Blog stands for web log, and it's come a long way. Blogging's been around for like over 20 years, but at the beginning it was really more of like a diary, a journal, an entry, a lot of text, and it was really sort of a personalized thing. Now the sites have become, and the free sites particularly, have become so easy to use that it's essentially like creating your own website. It really, really is, with a lot of graphics and things like that to make it a really engaging process. So if you go to WordPress.com, and that's just what it is, WordPress.com, you would just hit get started, and all you need is an email address and a username that you're going to create, and then you're ready to go. It takes you 2 seconds to set up. I already have one, so I'm just going to log in. Obviously, this is what I use for my blogging. And when you do log in, you're going to come to a spot that looks pretty much like this one, and I'll show you. And you can create as many blogs as you want. This is an overview of all the blogs I have. There's a bunch of testing blogs in here that I've done. And what you would do is basically create a new blog. And again, you can create multiple ones. You can have ones that are just for your personal use, for your professional use, for different classes if you wanted to set up that you had one for every class. I don't know if you want to set one up for every class. That might be a bit much, but whatever. So what will come up is a page like this, and you are going to name and create this page or this blog. So you want to give it a name. So you go here to your name, and let's just call it HoPE. We can call it that. And then you can create what the blog address is. It's going to be, for the free version, is going to be whatever you type here. So let's call it HoPE. And it will be popehope.wordpress.com free. It'll say that's taken because I've already created a page before to test this stuff out. So whatever it is, it'll either say this has been chosen, or it'll say only lowercase letters or whatever like that. Let's just do that. And that site already exists because I've already created it. But your site should be fine. And then what will happen is when that's all ready to go, you can create it. One thing you might want to do is look at your privacy here. There's 3 choices that you have. You can have it viewable by everyone, which means it'll be everywhere. You can have it viewable by everyone but blocked search engines. So that means Google and Jing and those sorts of things won't show up on. Or you can have it totally private. So you're the only one who could ever see it. And that might be if you're doing, something like a personal journal or diary, or you want to have a place where you can post your own videos or your own pictures or whatever you want to do. My hope is that you'd be opening up for something like this so that everyone can see it. That's oftentimes the point of it. Let's just call it that. And when you do pick a title that's working, you'll have to create a blog right here, and then you'll be ready to go, and you'll be up and running. So let's just close that, and we'll go back to the one that I had done. So I did HoPE here. And what it will take you to is the chance, and this is what it will look like just off the bat. You need to be able to go to your dashboard, and this is where you're going to be able to change a whole bunch of stuff. And this is where you're going to create it. And really the only way to figure it out, I'll give you some videos, but the only way to really figure this out is to give it a try and to go in there and look at stuff. So for instance, you might want to scroll down and under appearance, themes. So the theme is the overall setup of your blog, and there's a million different ways. Right now, Chateau is what you'll be using, but there's a bunch of different ones, and you'll notice that some of them are free. So this expound, all you have to do is hit activate, and then it will be activated. Something like this one, organization here, you'll notice is $69. So you'd have to actually pay for those premium ones, and they're a lot more complex and visually stimulating. What you want to do is look at what kind of blogs you're going to have. So for instance, if you're going to have a very picturesque one so that every post has pictures or videos, then something like Fontfolio might work for you, because the way it basically sets up is the whole page is images, and then you would click on those images to be able to see it. If you're going to do something that's more text driven, then maybe you want something like Chateau or Expound, or you can go through this and see some of the ones that are a little bit more text driven. Zorin, for instance, is very sort of utilitarian in a way. Whatever you want to do with it. There's A to Z. There's lots of them. You can see the ones that are the newest ones that are free, the ones that are paid. So there's lots of ways you can do that. Other things that you might want to be looking at when you're thinking about appearance, you can start to customize that appearance. So for instance, we'll come up here. You can picture what sort of pictures you want. So right here is the banner. You can say, well, what color do I want with that? You can look at the site title. You can look at snapshots. You can look at the colors that you're using. So for instance, you might say header text color. You might want to change that to blue. And then you'll see that it changes to blue. And the background color, you might want to change that to, like a black, or that's a little bit, that's kind of awful. But something along those lines. Don't use blue and blue text. So you might want to change it to that, and then you might want to just save it. Your design has changed, and so again, we can just go there. And we're going to go back to our Blackboard, or to our dashboard. We can get in later on. There's theme options, widgets, or different tools that are within your site. But really what you want to be able to do is organize, set it up, and then pick something basic. My advice to you would be pick something basic. And then as you work through it, you might say, well, you know what, I want it to be a little bit more visual, or I want to change this color, and then you just mess around with it. You really do understand that there is no self-destruct button. This is not going to blow up if you do something to it. So what you want to do is you want to know that whenever you're in here, you can always click on HoPE, and that will show you, or your title. Let me just close that, sorry. And then up will come a lot of stuff, and you'll see some of the stuff I've done. And you can change it all away. And then anytime you want to, just hover over HoPE, hit dashboard, and then you're going right back to that page. That's going to allow you to create and cultivate and manipulate all of your blog. And again, some of the more popular ones are down in here when you get into appearance and tools and those sorts of things. So lots of great ideas. It's the basic startup. Really, you should be up and going in the first half an hour to an hour to get you set up, maybe not even that much, and then you'll be ready to go. And the future videos are meant to help you get going.